So when I think about the veterans from previous wars before mine, it really makes me think about how bad they had it as compared to us. And I know I can remember being over there. I thought a lot of times, driving around in my armored vehicle and wearing my body armor, and having all the communication and the computers and the Blue Force trackers and air support all at the tip of your finger, the whole thing. Not to mention, going back to have an actual base that we stayed at. It wasn't. I was in Ramadi, so it wasn't like we had, a nice base, but at least we had a place to go back and take a shower and sleep on a makeshift bed, get some hot food. Dude, those guys back in Vietnam and Korea and World War II, they didn't have that. They I couldn't imagine just walking around the jungle, no protection, no arm, and not knowing at any minute that you could be, ambushed, dead, booby traps everywhere. That would have been just mentally tough, and the thing about my tour was so mentally tough and discouraging and just, constant enemy and attacks, but to be in a situation like some of those units, back in World War II, the entire unit got killed. Like not just a couple people from a company or 5 or 6 people, like entire companies were killed. People you just never saw them again. People that still they don't know, they've been MIA since the Vietnam War. You don't ever know what happened to them. So I think that on that basis, like they had it tough. Like that was just tough, and I have nothing but mad respect for all those guys to be able to go through that and come home. And then when they get home, back in World War II, Korea, they didn't have VA that was there, treating TBI and post-traumatic stress and, taking care of them and helping them with their finances and medical care. They didn't have any of that. They just came back and was like, hey, welcome back, go back to your family or your job, whatever. It's like, how do you transition back from that horrible situation into normal life, And a lot of them, God bless them, they're still struggling with that. And so I'm just thankful that I got so much support from my community and my family and VA and all the veteran groups like Rehabbing with the Troops and other guys that you can talk to. They didn't have communication. Like I can jump on my cell phone or on Skype with other veterans from Rehabbing with the Troops all over the country and talk if I'm having a problem or if we're just having a conversation about something. Those guys came back and they didn't know anybody. They couldn't talk to people about, I can't talk to my family about stuff that I went through. So it's just, everything was just stacked against them, to make it difficult. And I'm just so thankful that I have so many things stacked in my favor to make it easier on me and easier on my family and easier on this transition to go back to a civilian and back to a normal life and leave all that other stuff, as a part of me, but as a part of me from the past and kind of try to focus on the future. So, nothing but respect for those guys, and I'd do anything I could to help those guys if if the opportunity came up or whenever it does come up, and hopefully, every time I go to the VA, I see a ton of Vietnam veterans. Everybody nowadays has like a little black hat they wear with what war they were in and stuff, which I think is great. Those guys from Vietnam came home, people spitting at them, throwing stuff at them, calling them all kinds of names. If someone had done that when I came home, I would have flipped out. Like you would have probably, if someone would have spit on me whenever I came home from Iraq, it would have been over. Like there would have been a bad day for that person, and these guys came back and just lived like that. And, and now to see those guys getting to have some respect and being able to hold their head high as veterans, the road riders, or the Patriot riders, you know, every time I see the Patriot Riders and those guys just having so much pride as Americans and you know, having the flag and everything like that, it just makes me feel good that those guys are starting, you know, realize that they have respect and that they aren't, you know, what everybody called them back in the 60s, all those stupid hippies. So I'm just glad to see those guys now are coming in and getting help. And I've had some guys I know that from Vietnam that are starting to get the VA to take care of them now, you know, 30, 40 years later. Because now it's like, hey, this is what it's there for. Let's use it. So that's what I got to say about them. Nothing but respect for those guys. You know, I would much rather did the tour I did than go back and live through what they had to live through. I can't imagine. So, good job, guys.